It's the watch along show where we cover the challenges we've done this week. I am John Maher. That's Aaron Brooks. Aaron, what's going on today?
I'm excited to be here as always. At this section of the challenge, we're at the Why We Love Horror Challenge and Pick Your Poison Challenge for our two challenges, but we're starting with the Why We Love Horror. Flagship right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
You can pause the video whenever you want. Check out that QR code. That is the 2025 second annual Why We Love Horror Letterboxd Challenge. This week, it's not all these episodes will air in October, but for the month of October, for the most part, we're doing Halloween-based horror. We did Halloween slashers last week. This week, we're doing Halloween movies that involve like magic or curses. There's plenty of like your hocus pocus type movies, but though not necessarily your family-friendly horror comedy movies. I believe I'll go first because my movie came out earlier. I've never seen this movie. I've heard of it. I watched Trick or Treat, not Trick or Treat, Trick or Treat, it came out in 1986. It's this movie, which is basically Skippy from Family Ties. Mark Price is a metalhead, and he's the only metalhead in his school, and he is bullied by the regular kids. One of them played by Felicity Huffman's husband on Desperate Housewives. Doug Savant shows up, a young Doug Savant, and they make his life a living hell. For some reason, nobody else in the school listens to heavy metal in 1986, which makes no sense. But that doesn't hurt the movie. One of the greatest heavy metal people, like, apparently of all time, Sammy, was a graduate of the same high school, and the town, in the midst of that satanic panic, like bans him from coming back, and it coincides with like his tragic death. But upon dying, he, I guess, incursed an acetate record, right? If it's played backwards, it would summon him as like a demon, and hijinks ensue. I think describing it makes it sound like a shitty 80s movie, but it's above average. And Ozzy Osbourne shows up in the movie. Gene Simmons without makeup, which is jarring in the 80s.
Always
in the 80s now. Not like, whatever, not Gene Simmons, reality TV star where he realizes he's going to be on camera. In the 80s, he did not realize he was on camera, and he looks like a centipede on camera. It's very weird. Yeah. But yeah, Trick or Treat. I would definitely recommend it as an 80s movie.
Okay. I'll add it to the list. My movie also echoes Trick or Treat. However, it's not Trick or Treat, and I think that's often in people's reviews. Tales of Halloween. It's a Halloween anthology fest. I think it's 10 movies here. Darren Lynn Bousman does one of the segments. Sweet Tooth was one of the segments I really liked, and there was another segment with an alien and a stop motion that I really liked called and he kept saying Twick or Treat. It was really cute. But that was kind of also like the vibe of most of these is they're kind of cute. They don't really go super hard. It's like more like cozy Halloween horror, I would say. Like you could watch this along with Trick or Treat. It's not as good, but it's not like this like abomination. I feel like some people have claimed it to be. It just has some peaks and valleys. But I think it has more I preferred that I didn't. So like it's like a 3 out of 5. It's a movie I've forgotten to review so far, but it's just because I've been reviewing a lot of other things.
It's one of those anthologies that gives you so much that you will like something, I promise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's in like it seems Sweet Tooth is like the most popular, but I wouldn't say it's horrible. I'd say it's worth checking out. Some people are gonna like it more than others.
Right. And then we also, just so you know, aside from our Why We Love Horror Challenge, we're also doing the Pick Your Poison Challenge by Abra over on Letterboxd. I'm changed the QR code. Now that will take you to the Pick Your Poison Challenge. We're week 3 of the challenge, so days 15 through 21. And the prompt on day 15 was Hello, Dolly. These are movies with like your Child's Play, your Annabelles, movies about dolls. And I chose The Guardian, not William Friedkin's The Guardian. This is a Vietnamese movie from 2021. And like most Southeast Asian horror movies, there's like cultural aspects into it that I knew nothing about. Like I don't know anything about these Vietnamese dolls, but apparently if you are of Vietnamese culture, it's like a thing. And this movie is kind of like, if you liked K-pop Demon Hunters, this is like a live action kind of like Vietnamese pop doll mothers It's the same. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that like Asian pop star interludes. It's not like full Bollywood, and it's also like a decent like possession story, or is it? I'll say.
Interesting.
Yeah,
All right. Sounds interesting. My movie, one of the worst in the challenge so far. I've been raving about this challenge, but yeah, I made a mistake this time on this day a few days ago with Stuart Gordon's Dolls. It's the worst Stuart Gordon movie, which I didn't think I'd ever say and mean in a bad way. But yeah, this is a bad movie. God damn you, Charles Band. You are an asshole. Like, you've wasted my time for 10 movies, and then I'm like, oh, this must be going to the good ones because it's produced by Full Moon. And no, it sucks. And that's why it's produced by Full Moon. The effects are cool. That's it. The rest is garbage.
I haven't seen Dolls, but I'm probably going to see it eventually.
You not seeing Dolls is a statement.
Yeah, I haven't, just never got around to it.
Exactly. And you grew up in that decade.
That's true. Walked past that. There's so many movies where I've walked past that box. So
keep walking past that box. But
I will continue. The next day, day 16, disability horror, which is a weird category I'd never really thought was a category, but like it is. There's plenty of action now that I think back on it. There's plenty of movies where a main character is disabled, like Hush, Mute Witness, plenty of them. And like it starts going through, and I've seen a lot of them actually. But I chose a movie that I had been meaning to see. I believe it was on, actually, no, this predates Horrorville, does it? No, I think this is on Horrorville's, the first Horrorville list. 2021's The Advent Calendar, La Calendriere. It's a French movie, and you'll see this week I watched a lot of foreign movies. Very little English this week for me. It looks like that. Yes. Our main character is paraplegic. She was in an accident. And then for some reason, one of her friends gifts her this German advent calendar that is really supernatural. Like pretty much whatever you like, it kind of manifests like your ideal life. Like it knows what you want. And if you eat the candy in the advent calendar, it will give you what you want. What a price. It's one of those like at what price movies that we see. Yeah, like a monkey's paw, but it's an advent calendar, so there's 24 things in this thing. And it's is it the greatest movie I've ever seen? No. Is it the worst movie I've ever seen? No. It's worth your time, I'd say. It's just above average. I didn't have a bad time with the advent calendar.
Cool. Yeah, that's definitely one I've walked by browsing on Shudder. Like scroll to the next one. But it will get there maybe around Christmas time. I went with one of the only George Romero movies I haven't seen, Monkey Shines, about a quadriplegic. So I raise you two. And my actor who played the quadriplegic, Jason Becky, or however you say his name, just couldn't quite live up to the stature of what he needed to act with his face for the movie. Otherwise, the monkey, the capuchin monkey, glorious. Peas on him in the movie, very funny. Good stuff.
Fantastic. Next day, day 17 is a road trip horror, On the Road Again. So these are movies where and there's so many of these too, like people are just on a road trip and shit goes bad. So I chose an Italian movie. Like I'm just traveling the globe. This is a Netflix movie, a classic horror story. It feels derivative, but it does cool stuff with it. And there, you see that's kind of like a late 2010s, 2020s theme where like the movie feels like you've seen it a bunch of times, and then they do something to make it unique. And I think a classic horror story does succeed there, but you take a very familiar path to get there. So take that what it will. And there's the box art looks like that, by the way.
Fair enough. Very memorable title too. I went with House of Wax from the mid 2000s. Early mid 2000s. Paris Hilton dies in the movie, but there's other stuff that also happens when they eventually get to the fucking wax museum. Unfortunately, the road part of this movie is one of my problems. Like the first 30 minutes, they're on the road to the museum. Then when they finally get there, it gets a little better. Some people really love this movie. I thought it was just fine. I probably came to it too late. It is what it is.
It is a 2000s horror movie, and if you know what I mean, you know exactly what I mean. This is one of the most 2000s of the 2000s horror movies that you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next day, which is Let's Get It On. These are movies that have some sort of sexual plotline undertone, and I made a grave fucking mistake, no pun intended. I watched Necromantic and I spelled it wrong. Hang on, let me at least do them the honor.
Please do it the service.
Let me at least do them the service. I'm sorry, Necromantic from 1988.
Thank you.
What is there to say about this movie that it tells you exactly what it is. Like if you know anything about this movie, you know exactly what's going to happen, and you're like, maybe there's something worthwhile. No, that's exactly what happens before they even get to the necrophilia, which is very, 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 very forward in this movie. There's lots of scenes of people just urinating. So this is just kind of like you're like edgelord, like if a Serbian film didn't do it for you, this is the next place you're going to go to level of horror movies. It's not even a horror movie. It's just like fucking gross, I guess.
Yes,
But if that's your thing, go watch Necromantic.
And its sequel.
Yeah, and Necromantic 2, which I did not get to, but right where the first one ends, the second one begins. Maybe someday when I have drank too much, I will check out Necromantic.
Maybe another challenge, another day.
Yeah.
So I went back to Trauma here. It's been a while since I've been in Traumaville since, the Toxic Avenger remake, which was great. Check it out. Death by Temptation is my pick here, early 90s. James Bond III directed this one. And he didn't direct anything after this, unfortunately. This movie was great. Really, really cool. All black cast, great music. By a succubus who entices a nerdy black dude. And the succubus was played, she was known as Temptress in the movie, played by Cynthia Bond, who never went on to be in anything either. And then I was doing some research, and she wrote like a book 25 years later about like some pretty dark shit. So look up Cynthia Bond's book, and it was like a bestseller. Like it was an Oprah Winfrey book club book. It was like about abuse and sexual abuse and shit. It's crazy. Cynthia Bond is awesome in the movie though. So Death by Temptation, it's like known as the good trauma movie for a reason. It did well in the theaters and then just disappeared because racism.
Agreed. Our next 2 days, we actually watched the same movie. So day 19 is Candyman, which is like about urban legends or like, big Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster type shit. We both watched The Last Broadcast. I think we watched it for different reasons. Me, because I'm from New Jersey. You, because you like found footage. Yes. And I got to say, this movie beat out the Blair Witch Project to screens. And is it as good as the Blair Witch Project? Probably not. I'll be fair. But it holds its own. And I think the gimmicks that it uses, like the IRC chats and like the actual forensic videotape reproduction clips, like it explores the space better than the Blair Witch Project does.
Yes.
From a technical aspect. So that I think The Last Broadcast, it deserves to be in the conversation. And I put 1988 and it should say 1998. I am sorry.
I was about to say, I'm about to have to change my rating because you just blew my mind that this movie came out in 1988.
1998, everybody. Sorry.
Like that was freaking me out. So that was like part of my, so now I can realign this movie where it belongs because I was about to put it ahead of Blair Witch Project, but it came out 10 years before it. I was going to have to give it a little edge. No, this movie is great though. I love found footage like investigations, particularly when they're not focused on complete supernatural, work better for me, including Blair Witch Project. These movies, like they do hover around each other, but they really live in their own space. I like another thing I like about a lot of earlier found footage is trying so hard to convince you it's real that it pays so much attention to the detail. I feel like that's something that kind of they just give up on in a lot of found footage now. They're like, yeah, we know, it's found footage. We're not going to try to make you think it's real, but the really good ones still do that, like Strange Harvest that came out earlier this year.
And this has a Strange Harvest feel. The Last Broadcast has a Strange Harvest feel to it because it's done as a documentary on the actual found footage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it definitely is worth checking out. If you are a found footage completionist like myself, you gotta get to this one. It's on Prime, like no excuse.
Yeah, day 20 is Stay Out of the Woods. These are your classic bad things happen in the woods type horror movies. However, you and I both traveled over to Indonesia to see Empedagore, which they definitely, it's not like one of those we're camping in the forest and bad things happen. It's like we need to go to this remote village in the hinterland of Indonesia, and we should understand bad things will probably happen, and they happen in Empedagore. It's about
that poster is insane, by the way.
Yes.
When you know the context of the movie.
Yeah, like Maya and Dini are toll booth workers in the beginning of the movie, but then one day this dude just shows up and is like, he starts calling Maya by a different name and he tries to kill her. And it's like, why the hell would this guy know who she is, where she is, or why she's trying to kill her? And then they unravel the mystery of who she really is. Mm-hmm. And this movie, Joko Anwar can write a fucking movie. The way the story is, like it is. I was blown away with like how well everything worked. Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of layers, and that's usually a death knell for a movie when they make it too complicated. This movie is complicated, but Joko Anwar like doesn't pull any punches and doesn't leave anything unanswered. And it's not like a 3-hour movie either. It's tight.
No, it's under 2 hours, and it's great. Satan's Slaves I also like by Joko Anwar. I preferred this though. I think both leads are fantastic in this movie. The way the story kind of unravels is really cool. And there's not like a cultural learning curve here at all because of how inundated the story is into the movie. And it's taught, into the movie. It's shown in the movie in some flashbacks, really effective flashbacks, like which is a rarity. Most flashbacks just are shoehorned into an effect. I think they really work here. The gore is top notch as well when it comes in. And then by the end of the movie, everything's answered, but it's not answered in a simple way. And another part I was like mentioning to you was that with a movie coming from Indonesia now, I've seen several, is that they don't spend a lot of the movie, if any part of the movie, trying to prove if the curse is real or not. The curse is taken as fact. It's part of the culture.
That's a truly Indonesian thing, I was going to say, because there's a lot of movies like there's like a fine line where it's like they expect you to understand Indonesian culture, or you don't need to understand Indonesian culture. This is one of the more accessible ones for sure, which is why it's such a success to us.
Yes.
But there's definitely movies like Sewu Dino and movies like that where it's like I need to read a book.
Right. And this is not one of them. So it's on Shudder. It's like at this point, making a best Shudder original making a top 5 would be very difficult because there's about 50 that are good to great. Like it's quite amazing. Like, so I always think it's funny when people are like, is Shudder worth it? Like, not that we're sponsored by them, but yes, it is for movies.
We would love to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Final one was She Blinded Me with Science Fiction. These are just science fiction based horror movies. And again, I'm still not in America, because I went down to Australia where ugly people live and watched T-Blockers. This movie is it's definitely science fiction. It's definitely like LGBTQ forward. And I don't dislike the movie at all. I just feel like it's one of those movies where like that is the entire identity of the movie, and the actual like horror science fiction is secondary. And I think that actually hurts these types of movies. That's what I'll say. So basically it's about like, there's like a parasite in the water that makes you even more transphobic and homophobic and all that stuff when it affects you. And this crew of allies and genderqueer folks fight back against those folks. It's folks versus folks in this movie.
Very interesting. All right. I finally finished off Panos Cosmatopoulos's filmography with Beyond the Black Rainbow. This is definitely an experience, very visual, sensory or overload type of experience. It's got some like aspects of like Giallo to it. It's got some aspects of a lot of things to it. And it's way different from Mandy. So like, yeah, it doesn't go as hard as Mandy, but it's not quite it's a very different type of movie. Like I liked it. I didn't love it. Like it's just like a movie I couldn't see myself ever watching again either. Like, and it just felt like a lot of what made Mandy great was being worked out here. And
yeah, it's not Mandy.
It's not.
Yeah.
But Mandy's fantastic. So that's not a bad thing. But this one's really good. And if I would have saw it when it came out, I think I would have liked it a lot more than seeing it 15 years later.
That's actually probably the fairest way to describe this movie. In 2010, it would have been way more phenomenal. I agree.
Yeah.
That'll do it for that week in the challenge. We still got one more week and then a few stragglers because we got the end of the month and some bonus movies. So we'll get like another 2 full weeks out of this challenge. Again, that's the QR code for Aubrey's challenge. And one more time, our QR code is right here for the Why We Love Horror challenge. Check that out. If you made it this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror. I'd love to see you over there as well. Follow us on Letterboxd. But until next time, I'm JWMaher. That's Aaron Brooks. Here comes that schedule.